I watched your pool video.
Cool.
That was a good video. I saw
That's
Kate
fun.
Rudy in there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some local stars.
Yeah.
Try to have it.
I was going to ask you
They're my
about,
friends.
I was going to ask you about the winter jacket. I thought, I've never jumped in a pool with a winter jacket, and I wonder if that thing got really heavy.
It was in the water, totally fine. Coming out of the water, it was literally like 60 pounds. It was insane. But it dried in 4 hours.
What?
It was, yes, I am not kidding you. It was so hot that day. And it's like, I think it's like synthetic down. And I put it in the sun and it was dry by the time I was
But
ready
when you
to go
got in
home.
the water, I don't know why I'm obsessed with this. Was it hard to move?
Not
'Cause it was
really.
a winter. No, okay.
No. I think because you're just like, it was pretty, well, it wasn't buoyant because it soaked all the way through. But it wasn't hard to move in the water.
Oh.
And that's why I didn't jump off a diving board.
Oh.
Because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to just sink to the bottom of the pool. I was like, I'm going to walk in here slowly and then feel like I'm in control. Because once you wet the jacket, you can't do, it was like, this is like a
one-time deal.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not going to risk jumping in and then everyone having to save me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we should just keep this in the interview.
I think so, yeah.
It's Chessa Rich, everybody. Inside Studio J with That Station. How are you?
I'm doing great.
It's great to have you.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
You've got some new music coming out. So here's what we know. You've put out 3 singles so far. And then you've got a new album coming out April 7th.
Yep.
Deeper Sleeper.
Yes.
Let's talk about the album because it isn't just, that's not just a random title.
It's not a random
This
title.
album has a theme.
Kind of.
Kind of? Yes?
Yeah, there's kind of a theme. I wrote these songs over the course of 5 or 6 years. It's sort of it's a wide-ranging batch of songs. And I took this class at Durham Night School Bar, which is a pay-what-you-can humanities night school in Durham.
That's cool.
It's amazing. It's so great. And I took a class on dreams and how they factor into art and dreams, imagination, intuition, ideology, all that kind of stuff. And I realized through the course of this class, all of my songs were about sleeping, about being tired, about dreaming, were a literal, one of the songs I'm going to play today is just a retelling of a dream that I had. And it was funny because I didn't go into it being like, I'm going to make a record about this. And yet, I did make a record about.
Where did that come from then?
Yeah, so I have always throughout my life needed a lot of sleep. And in the past 5 or 6 years, just been really tired all the time and had kind of chalked it up to I'm a self-employed musician. I'm becoming an adult. Life is hard. Everybody's tired, And then I was encouraged by my boyfriend to get a sleep test.
Oh.
And turns out I have sleep apnea. I'm not breathing while I sleep at all.
That's not good.
Yeah. So sleep apnea is you stop breathing so much that your blood oxygen level drops 5% or more, which is that's pretty serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's that diagnosis was kind of revelatory and there actually was something going on here, and it allowed me to see all those experiences of beating up on myself or being too tired or feeling like I'm lazy and having totally wild dreams and not totally knowing how to incorporate these insane, vivid, symbolic dreams every single night. It's I want to be taking these in and thinking about them and what they mean, but it's if you read a whole book of philosophy every single night and then you're supposed to incorporate, it's too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, it's way too much. So that kind of, I was like, oh yeah, that's what this record is totally about, that, and it changes your relationship to people, to your work, to creativity, to so much.
So what does it feel like to be sitting here on the precipice of releasing a new album? We only know the 3 songs that you've put out, but you've got a full album that's coming. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Is it just can't wait to get it out there? What's that feeling you're having right now?
A little bit of all of those things. I feel like I'm not as nervous as I was in previous iterations, because I think the record's great, and I've played these songs with my friends a lot. I think people are going to like them, and if they don't like them, that's fine. I can't control that.
Right. Yeah.
It's, I've done my end of the creative work, and now it's just, I'm excited to see how certain songs land, because some of them, a lot of them I've been playing live, but some of them are very different from how I've been playing them live. And I think I'm most excited for like my friends who haven't heard them yet. I'm like, what do you think? You know,
Do you like sitting with people and watching them as they react to your? Do you like seeing people listen to your music?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, is that weird? Is that
No,
like...
I think I would be the same way.
Yeah, actually, when we got the masters back, I had a listening party at my house. Because that period of time when you're like mixing and mastering the record, it's so behind the scenes, and you have no feedback from anyone except for the like, you know, the people who've been on it, everyone who made it super psyched. We're like, this is great, right? You're like, this is great, right? And so I had a listening party. I had all my friends over, and we just like sat in the dark and just listened to the record all the way through, that was like a year and a half ago or something.
Okay.
And that was great. So it's like, I'm hoping that this record release process will be like that on a bigger scale.
Yeah. You live in North Carolina now.
Yep.
Are you originally from here?
Yeah, I'm from Burlington, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And both sides of my family are from Eastern North Carolina.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Musicians in the house?
Both my parents actually met in a jazz band at Elon College.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my dad plays trombone and my mom is a singer. And they've never been like career musicians. They've always had full-time jobs and are like ass-kicking corporate, like, you know,
Do they
business
think what
people.
you're doing is nuts?
Oh no, they love it because they're both musicians. You know, like my mom is thrilled. She's thrilled. Yeah, and my dad is too. I mean, they're. I feel very lucky to have such supportive parents because it's not a lucrative life path. It's not an easy life path. It's very rewarding, you know. But I think because they have the experience of. Like, they went on tour together with their college jazz band, like, every winter when they were in college. So they, like, know how fun that is.
Yeah.
And understand why you would choose to agree to, like, never have enough money and probably not have any boundaries between your work and life.
So could you have done anything else? Or has this just been in your blood from the get-go?
Oh, yeah. I didn't, like, start... I've always been like, I was in choir at church and I played flute in the marching band and I like took piano lessons and like that's always been a part of my life. But I didn't start playing in like bands and performing till like 2014.
Okay.
Because I just didn't think I could do it. I was like, I had a weird relationship with songwriting and like stepping out in terms of like me being a person who deserves to be sharing all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
You collaborated with His Golden Messenger in the past, Tiff Merritt.
Yeah.
Nick Sanborn from Sylvan Esso produced your EP in 2018. What did you learn working with those artists that you took with you into your own project?
That's such a great question. Nick was the first producer that I ever worked with. And so, like, you know, those were the first recordings of my first songs ever.
Yeah.
So I think so much of my understanding of a producer's role or being in the studio is shaped by that first experience. And Nick was one of the things that I really appreciated about Nick is he would have an idea and he's a very excitable person, you know. He's like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Then he'd do it and then he'd be like, wait, is this okay with you? You know, like I think, and that's important because not everyone does that, you know. And just really that whole team, I think, Nick in particular really understands that the way that we're feeling as a group in the space, the way the space is, he would be like, you can do stuff after hours, but like we're going to reset the space and it's going to be beautiful. So in the morning, we're ready to come into this fresh palette. And like, that's so important.
Yeah.
You know, your physical space feeling like clean and ready for you to create is awesome.
Chessa Rich inside Studio J. You have a Cat's Cradle date on April 29th.
Yes.
Right?
Saturday.
Oh, that's a great night to do a show. Yeah.
You don't have to work.
Doing all the new stuff?
All the new stuff.
Yeah?
Every single one.
Okay.
And maybe some even newer stuff.
Do you have to practice that?
Oh, yeah.
Where do you practice? Like, where do you get together as a band to practice doing a show?
You know, that's a good question. I think we've done it in my living room before.
Oh.
It's a little cramped. And I'm honestly on the lookout for a practice space right now. So I'm hoping that I will find one.
Oh, there you
But
go.
yeah, it's kind of, I mean, this band is like a 5 to 6 person band. So it's like,
A lot of sound.
yeah, it's not, we can't just kind of like just throw in anywhere and be like, yeah.
So Cat's Cradle, April 29th. New album, April 7th.
Yes.
Chessa Rich, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.